What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Light and Lamp podcast. I am here with Steve,
Hello.
as always, and today's episode is just going to be kind of a odds and ends podcast. Since we recorded our initial free agency episode, there really hasn't been that much movement in the league. It's been kind of frozen as teams try to materialize cap space out of thin air. I think the idea is that it's probably going to start picking up again after most of the arbitration meetings are done, because teams with a lot of RFAs are going to know better where they sit. And so then you'll have your teams that are going to be taking salary will know exactly how much they can take, and you might see things start to shake up after that. But as it stands, there hasn't been a whole lot going on. We've gotten some minor signings. Galchenyuk signed a contract with the Ottawa Senators today. Devontae signed his contract with Colorado. Tyler Bertuzzi signed with the Red Wings. One interesting thing that came out today was Ekman Larsson gave an interview to a Swedish hockey website where he stated that he never wanted to leave Arizona in the first place. And it seems like that was the case because he gave them the deadline of before free agency started to trade him. Otherwise, he was going to stay. For a franchise that's had a lot of controversy surrounding it lately, between the GM, not Jacob Chikrin, that'd be terrible if he just left, John Shaika just straight up leaving, the draft pick of what's his face, Mitchell something, who had allegations of bullying and some racial attacking of a student when he was in school, to the pre-testing of draft prospects. It's an organization that right now is not doing well internally. So to see that their captain and their longtime defenseman said that he wanted to stay, and it seems like his actions are lending credence to that. Do you think that, if you're an Arizona Coyotes fan, how do you feel about that? Does it make you feel better? Would you rather trade him and get some pieces back for him at this point? Like, how do you feel about the Ekman Larsson situation with the Coyotes, given everything that's been going on with this organization?
I mean, I guess it's a bright spot, right? Teams, like, the fans can rely on some level of stability, that because he wants to stay. So he pretty much controls whether or not he leaves based on his no movement clause anyway. So I'd be excited if I was a fan that your captain doesn't want to leave your team.
What do you think about everything that's been going on with the Coyotes lately? All these controversies that are coming out surrounding this organization. Like, how do you feel about this team right now?
I really don't know how to feel. I know the pre-draft testing stuff, which made them forfeit their draft picks this year, was under John Chaika, who then unceremoniously just up and left after screwing the franchise over. I don't know. I feel like for every step forward they take like 2 or 3 steps back and manage to shoot themselves in the foot. I mean, this is after they make all the publicity of having one of the first Latin American or Latinx owners of a major league or a National Hockey League franchise. And yeah, then they get all this negative publicity on top of it.
I've never gone from so excited about a franchise to just so disappointed in everything that they've done as I was this year with the Coyotes. I mean, if you remember back to our preseason show, I had them second in the Pacific. I was really excited about the direction that this team was going with the acquisition of Phil Kessel. I was excited about where they were headed, the young prospects in the system that were up and coming. And just, John Shaika as a GM really excited me. And then this season comes in and they make the Taylor Hall trade. John Shaika leaves. Taylor Hall leaves. So essentially, they traded everything that they gave to New Jersey was for nothing because they didn't even make it past the first round of the playoffs. Um, they got smoked by the Avalanche. And say what you want about that being a tough draw. The point is you have to win your matchups in the playoffs. So, they go from this high-flying organization to on the rise. They're acquiring a big name in Taylor Hall to their GM leaving, Taylor Hall leaving, so they get nothing out of that trade. They still have to forfeit a draft pick next year. This controversy surrounding the draft pick that they made that almost every other team had scratched completely from their draft lists to everything that's coming out now with the Ekman-Larsson situation. I've never gone from so excited about a team to just so disappointed in literally every possible thing that they could have done this season. Just went completely against everything that I thought they were going to do. And I'm not feeling too hot about this franchise for next season and going forward, considering all the pieces that they put into that Taylor Hall trade, only to just not even get a 1-year contract out of him. He goes to Buffalo. It's just not looking good for Arizona right now.
It looks about as good as it always has. I mean, they've always been kind of a franchise without a direction, so nothing much has changed.
And it's disappointing because I was actually excited about them for once, and just everything went as bad as it could have gone this year. So just yikes, just big yikes. Gonna talk about some of the new. Is there anything else, like any other league news you want to talk about? I mean, I think, honestly, the fact that Galchenyuk again today signed with Ottawa, I really genuinely think Ottawa is going to be better than a lot of teams in the league that they probably shouldn't be. Like, teams that think they can still compete, like the Sharks and the Wild. I genuinely think the Ottawa Senators are going to be better than them next season.
Oh, I think so, too. I mean, I don't think they're going to make the playoffs, but, I think they'll be all right.
No, I don't think they make the playoffs either, but it's going to be really funny when teams like this, the Wild and the Sharks are, bottoming out in their division, and the the lowly Ottawa Senators are just not kicking tail. Like, they'll probably be somewhere in the 10th to 13th range, but I mean, that's better than a lot of teams that still think that they're going to compete for some reason. So we're going to do, is there any other signings or miscellaneous? Oh, did you want to talk about the OHL message that came out today?
No, I don't think so. I mean, it really doesn't say much. It just says that they're aiming to start play January 1st. They haven't actually voted on it yet, so they're looking to play a 50-game season, which is really not that out of anything crazy. The AHL is not starting until February, I think, they said, so yeah, that's about it.
So if they restart without or limiting contact, is there any way to even really officiate that besides calling checking penalties? You can't limit body contact.
Honestly, yeah, I have no idea. I don't know how those discussions went or what they actually discussed.
It's you can't touch him. It's so how am I supposed to win a puck battle in the corner? Do I just? I'm hey, can you give me the puck, please?
Yeah, I don't know. It really was it's a dumb idea, whoever had it.
Did we talk about the Flames going back to their retro jerseys last time? I don't remember.
I think so.
I know that they went back to their retros. So we're going to talk about some apparel. Some teams are putting out. There's something that's going on in the NHL that's called reverse retro, and from what I can understand, it seems like they're bringing back old jerseys with a little bit of a twist, modernizing them a little bit, adding a little tweak here and there. So we have a couple of those that came out, and also the Dallas Stars put out a new uniform, which we will get to. But let's start with the reverse retro, and we'll start in the state of Pennsylvania. The Penguins and the Flyers put out, and if you guys are curious as to what these look like, I can throw them up kind of in a collage, and then also you could just Google it. Just Pittsburgh Penguins reverse retro jerseys. Some of these aren't confirmed yet. These are just what has been reportedly leaked. Although I have to say, when things get leaked in the NHL, we've actually seen like a surprising number of them just be real. It seems like more often than not, when things get quote unquote leaked by these manufacturers, they just end up being real. So keep in mind that the only confirmed jersey we're going to be talking about today is the Dallas Stars one. The rest of these are reported, but so we'll start with Pittsburgh. It's their old. It's a white jersey. You got a gold stripe, black stripe on the bottom. Their current logo is on the shoulders, and it just says Pittsburgh across the front. What do you think about this Pittsburgh Penguins jersey? This throwback, reverse retro for them?
I mean, it's a throwback to like the mid to late '90s period with Jaromir Jagr. I mean, it's okay. It's not great. I mean, I don't think a lot of teams can pull off the vertical like word, like the typeface, the same way the Rangers can. I think it's just, I don't know. There's something weird about other teams trying something like that. Um, so I'm not right off the bat. I'm not a fan of that. But the rest of it, I don't know. I like the colors. Uh, I think it'll look good on the ice probably. I mean, it
Yeah,
looks classic,
I,
you know.
the thing is, like, I don't. I'm in the same boat as you. I honestly hate the typeface, quote unquote logo, because to me it's just incredibly lazy. And the only team in the NHL that I think that pulls it off well is the Rangers, and probably a 90% of that. The reason that I think that is just because it's a classic look for them. They've always looked good wearing it, whereas teams like the Penguins, Colorado did this at one point. Especially the more and more I look at that Carolina Hurricanes away jersey, the more I hate it. Like, I'm actually starting to physically despise that jersey. I think it's horrific and it's stupid. I think the Red Wings never did the Detroit thing, did they? I don't know.
Maybe like way back, but
I just think the only team in the NHL that should use that logo. I know Buffalo did actually at one point on their black jerseys. They had that. The only team in the NHL that should use that, in my opinion, is the Rangers, because the only team that looks good, and that's just because it's just part of their heritage. Where every other team, to me, it's just so incredibly lazy. It's like, what do? We just put Pittsburgh on the front. Oh, okay. It's like, why? The coloring isn't bad. I think it'll look nice on the ice because it's got that classic white. And, the gold isn't like Vegas gold where it's not like all up in your face. And it's not like, look at me, I'm gold. It's just kind of like that classic Pittsburgh gold. The black lettering with the gold outline is a really nice look, in my opinion. And I do like the old Pittsburgh Penguins logo on the shoulder. It would be kind of cool if they had the, you can't really see it from the picture. But it would be really funny if they went back to the old one with that, the penguin that had the scarf on it. Just go all the way back. I think that'd be a nice little nod. Like, yeah, we still have pretty much the same logo, but he had a scarf, and then I guess he lost it. I don't know. But I mean, to me, it's not bad, but I hate that typeface. It's just like, stop.
well, the thing with Pittsburgh at this point, it's like how many jerseys can they really go call throwbacks when they've already worn pretty much historically all of their throwbacks, Like both their Winter Classic jerseys, then now their jerseys resemble the ones they wore in the 80s and 90s, and now they go back to these, which are the ones from the 90s. It's like at this point they're going to be running out,
I would have liked to have seen them maybe take a chance. I know that, like, they're traditionally, it's funny because them and the Flyers are really traditionally teams. I think the Flyers have never had a different logo on the front. It's always been that spoked wheel, or whatever the hell that thing is supposed to be. But I maybe would have liked to have seen them take a chance on an alternate jersey this year that's not just like, hey, it's our colors but brighter, like was their alternate last year. But for a retro jersey, obviously you're kind of limited to what you've already done. So it's not bad. That is a note for the Pittsburgh Penguins. So at some point I would like to see them maybe take a chance, take a gamble, do something different, show us a little bit of creativity there. Because look, if it doesn't work out, I mean, plenty of NHL teams have had horrible jerseys. I mean, you're talking to an Islander fan here. Like, we've had our fair share of bad alternate logos. So, I don't know. I would just like to see them take a chance at some point. The Flyers reverse retro jersey is very interesting. It's kind of orange body, black shoulders with a stripe on the top that goes down to where it has the white sleeves. What are your thoughts on this particular reverse retro jersey?
Well, I mean, this is like the Eric Lindros classics, right? From like this is like the Legion of Doom era. I really think these reverse retros are is Adidas really throwing back to like the mid 90s, 95, 96, when a lot of these teams had these really interesting designs, but probably not in the bright, color now, because the color palettes back then were, severely limited compared to what they are now. So in terms of, I guess, like fabric production and just like in terms of just overall jersey design. So I don't know. I like it. I like that it's a bright orange instead of like the more muted orange from the original. And I mean, I've never been a fan of the jerseys with the black stripe, like the black arms, though. I always thought it looked kind of strange.
Yeah, this to me is kind of again on a similar scale to the Penguins, where it's just like it's a nice throwback, it's a nice homage. It's not blowing me out of the water or anything. The black striping where it goes all the way from the shoulders down to halfway below the sleeves, it's a kind of a weird look, especially because it's accented by that white stripe too. I think if maybe it just went black to orange might be a little bit better, but the white accent's not bad. But then you have the white sleeves. It's one of those jerseys where I think they maybe tried to do too much, but that being said, I don't hate it. To me, it's on the same level as the Pittsburgh Penguins, where it's like, okay, like, it's not great, it's not bad. If I was a fan, I wouldn't go out of my way to buy one of these, but if somebody like gifted it to me, I wouldn't like hate them.
Well, I mean, again, it goes back to like the thing with the Penguins, right? Like how many throwbacks can the Flyers really wear? Because like they've really only worn the jerseys they wear now, and those.
Yeah.
Like that's it.
Yeah, they're another team that, I would like to see at some point somebody design an alternate that's a different logo, a totally different look. Of course, it's difficult to kind of get away from your team's colors, but I don't know, maybe go for, an all black look or something along those lines. Maybe not necessarily like a blackout jersey, because they've been kind of hit or miss. I mean, we all know the Tampa Bay Lightning have like the single worst jersey like ever, where it's just like if you're too far away, they literally just look like they're wearing like a black suit, and it's like, wow, you guys put a lot of thought into this. So like somebody went to that board meeting and they were like, what if the jersey was black? And they're like, okay, we've done that before. Yeah. Like, and the logo was black, and like, but how are you gonna see? And the nameplate and number are black, and they're like, are you really? Like, how is anybody supposed to see any of this? I'm like, ooh, it's blackout jersey, bro. Black ice. Like, you're an idiot.
I don't know, man. They made it onto the ice, so.
That's the thing with some of these jerseys, right? It's not like Bill from the design department walked up to production and was like, make these and we're going to wear them tomorrow. It's like, that had to go before the board. It had to get approved by his department. Then it had to go before, like, the team ownership, get approved by them, and then go to production. It's like, how many levels of people looked at this and were like, yes, I can't see anything on this jersey, and that's the way I like it. It's like, what is wrong with you?
Yeah, I don't know, man. People made some historically terrible decisions.
And the thing is, with some of these jerseys, like, look, if you throw an alternate logo out there and it flops and it's bad, I get it, right? Like, if you look at, like, the fisherman logo from the Islanders, right? It's like, sure, like, at the time it was chastised. It's kind of become, like, that old enough to where it's kind of a treasured part of our history. Not everybody loves it, but it's like the least you could say is, like, look, they took a chance, right? I could see some creativity behind this. Whereas with those black ice jerseys, it was like, same logo, just in black. It's like, great. You really reinvented the wheel there, Copernicus. Like, God. So I would like to see the Flyers at some point take a chance, take a shot, show me something. Um, and at the very least, if I don't like it, I can at least say that you tried. We'll go to the third reverse retro jersey that has been leaked so far, and I know that you're a big fan of this one. We saw the Anaheim Mighty Ducks somewhat come back. This is the Anaheim Ducks Wild Wing jersey with him exploding out of the ice wearing the old Mighty Ducks jersey. What do you think about this one?
I don't know. I just think it's so fire. Like it's such a good logo. It's so like different from like, hockey's so quote unquote tradition is everything in hockey. And I just think like this is one of the like truly creative jerseys in the league. Someone really like took a step out of their comfort zone to make this.
Yeah, because these are jerseys that they had worn before, but they made the change to where the base isn't that bluish green; it's now orange. Um, I think it's hilarious. I love it. I think it's great. Um, I'm interested to see how it looks on the ice because I remember the old Wild Wing jerseys on the ice. Like just looking at pictures, they kind of looked a little bit goofy. Um, but I think the orange is a really really nice touch. I think that makes it. It's weird because it's such a small change to go from that green to that orange. But I think it really makes it pop and really makes it like Anaheim, right? Like
I just think like they have to wear like a lot of black with it because otherwise it's gonna look kind of dumb.
yeah, if they roll out with like white helmets, it's like, oof, that's gonna look so bad. You need to get the guy with like the red helmet. And it's like, ooh, yeah, not good. Um,
Yeah, no, definitely not.
it's definitely unique though, and it's a really interesting. They've gone back and they've worn the old Mighty Ducks stuff before, and it's funny whenever Anaheim comes out with an alternate jersey, it's always going to be judged against the Mighty Ducks jerseys just because like those are some of the best jerseys to ever be worn ever. um, you know, just you can't. In the pantheon of jerseys, those have to be at the top, right? Like sharing that seat with other ones, obviously, but like
Yeah, it's somewhere up there.
they're just classics. But with this, you get a little taste of it because Wild Wing is wearing the Anaheim Mighty Ducks logo, but it's just different, and I like it. I like the innovation. You can say it's a little goofy, it's a little childish. I wouldn't exactly love it if they were wearing this every night, but for a nice retro jersey that they wear like 3 or 4 times a year, it's dope. It's fire. Um, honestly, if I was a Ducks fan, I'd cop one like right away because they're dope.
Bro, I'm not even a Ducks fan. I might buy one.
they're cool.
They're so cool, bro.
Next, I know that this is a team that you love. For some reason, the Vegas Golden Knights are hopping on the reverse retro train. Maybe this might be illegal. I think that every team has to put one in. So obviously, for a team and only going on to its fourth season, they don't really have anything to go off of. There's no retro jersey. There's no heritage. There's no alternate logos for them to go off of. But they took the logo that's on the shoulder patch of their jersey currently, and they made that the main logo. And it's a red jersey with gray, gold, and black V pattern. And it looks like there's some kind of logo on the shoulder that we can't see. Before I go on a rant about this, because you know how much I love V pattern jerseys, what do you think about this from the Vegas Golden Knights?
I think it's kind of plain. I mean, I get if they're doing like the whole league's doing the reverse retro thing, right? They all should like fit some kind of theme, like some kind of era, right? As you can see, like all these jerseys kind of come from like the same like mid '90s period. So like this Vegas one is similar, but like it's still like not very creative. Like they could have created a whole fake alternate look to the team that could have existed back then, but they kind of just like, I don't know, we'll make it red.
Mm. I mean, yeah. So I hate V pattern jerseys. They're ugly. I think they're disgusting. I hate them. I hate the old Vancouver Canucks V pattern jersey. Just I don't want anything to do with it at all. I hate it. It's my least favorite jersey look. Um, so combine that with this ugly mishmash of color. The red does not really go with the gray and gold at all. Red to me on their jerseys needs to be more of like a logo only color. They made it the primary color. Yes, they do have a different logo, so I will give them credit for not just doing what they did with their quote unquote alternates. I'm not even really going to consider those alternates because it's literally just their home jersey in gold instead of gray. At least they're using a different logo. They put a little bit of effort into it. It's different. It looks different from their homes in a way, so I can give them credit for that. But I don't know why, for the life of me, they picked the ugliest color palette or the ugliest jersey pattern to go with, and we're like, yes, the V pattern. I want to look like I'm going to grandma's for Christmas. It's like, why? Just stop with this pattern.
I mean, it's even weird because like the numbers are a different color. They're black and white.
And they're doing that kind of like early 2000s like pop kind of situation, where it looks like, oh, it's 3D numbers.
Yeah.
And it's like, what are you hearkening back to? Because are you hearkening back to the 80s with the V pattern jersey, or like 2000 where it's like it's 3D? Like, I don't like, what are you getting at? Like, I don't know. For a team that has potential for different logos, right? Alternate kind of designs, the Golden Knights, right? You can do different patterns and, an interesting logo with that. Make it a Vegas themed jersey. I don't know. Vegas is one of the few teams I think that might actually be able to somewhat pull off a wordmark jersey if they just made it like the famous Vegas sign on the front, right? Something like that.
That's kind of what I was hoping they would do with these throwbacks, right? Like do something kind of just out of nowhere that doesn't have to work, you know? Like just something kind of wild and crazy that fits with the other themes, like the Wild Wing jersey. If those are the two teams that are going to be playing wearing these, like why wouldn't you want something equally like ridiculous?
Something like less Golden Knights and more Vegas, right? Like more flashy. Yeah, and I can give them credit for trying, thinking outside the box, but they kind of flop with this one. I'm not a huge fan. I don't really like it at all. I'm probably gonna like it even less on the ice just because I'm gonna have to sit there and watch a 2-hour hockey game of a V pattern jersey in the year 2020 or 2021. So that's just gonna ruin my entire night. But it's weird because Vegas, like, their home and aways, they're not my favorite, but they're solid. I'll take it. They're a good like 6.5, 7 out of 10. Like, they're okay. But man, like, they just totally fumbled the ball here with their alternates literally just being like, it's our home jersey but in gold. It's like, great, you just Photoshop gold onto the gray part. Like, I could have done that. And then with this, it's like, it's a V pattern jersey, but also the numbers look like they're from the year 2002 and it's word art, and it's like, why? So they kind of botched this, in my opinion. Not a huge fan of those from the Vegas Golden Knights. So last but not least, the only confirmed jersey that has actually been confirmed by the team put out today, the Dallas Stars have a quote-unquote blackout jersey. The whole jersey is black. They have these neon green accent stripes, and their logo, the outline of Texas, the Dallas D in the middle with the spokes, all in neon green. The lettering is black, but thank God it is outlined in neon green, so you can actually see it, and your play-by-play announcers don't have to get a coronary in their brain trying to read player numbers. What do you think about this logo, or not this logo, this blackout jersey from the Dallas Stars?
I think they're cool. I think they're gonna look really good on the ice, like the all black. I really didn't like them when I saw them earlier, but I think it was just a lot of like the publicity shots, like the way it was presented. I didn't like, but like the more I actually look at it, I think it's cool. It's kind of like their original green jerseys. Remember, we were both like, I don't really like these. But then like the more we saw them, the more we were like, yeah, actually, you know what? No, these are cool. That's kind of how I feel about these. They're pretty cool. Like the more I look at them, the more I'm like, yeah, no, actually, I kind of fuck with it.
Yeah, yeah. You know what it is? I think that the bar has been set so low for what a blackout jersey should be by the Tampa Bay Lightning that this is definitely a welcome change. And, I always thought that the old Dallas black jerseys were pretty dope. Another one of those teams with just a word mark on it, but, that I thought was a little bit lazy. But I thought it looked good. The old black jerseys. These to me, I'm gonna need to see them on the ice because, like you said, the publicity stunts. First of all, the publicity shots. What genius decided to debut their jersey and the video only have backlighting with neon green lights and a neon green accented jersey? Like, most of the time when these teams do these jersey reveals, they show the player wearing them. He's taking shots, right? He's in the smoke room, blah blah blah. And then at the end, there's you know, just a picture of what the jerseys look like, right? Like, here's what they look like without special effects, without anything. This is what they're going to look like when the player puts them on. The Dallas Stars' entire video is like, it's backlit in neon green. It's like, so I don't actually know what these jerseys look like.
I mean, it was all just like a marketing thing, right? To like make them look cool, like make the green really stand out, you know? But I mean,
Yeah.
like the actual publicity shots of them actually look like good. Like the still images are cool. I like that they put a tinted visor on this guy because they were like, yeah, this is supposed to be the captain, but this is very clearly not Jamie Benn.
Jamie Benn grew mutton chops, guys, but ignore that. It's fine. He
He's
also.
also significantly lighter and shorter.
He kind of
But I
looks
mean, I
like
like them.
he kind of looks the guy that in the picture kind of looks like if Alexander Radulov was like denied food and water for a week.
Yeah, a little bit.
I think they're dope. I think I think it's good to see a little bit of innovation here. The reason I say I want to see them on the ice is because I'm not sure how they're going to interact with the white light bouncing off the ice. That's going to be something that is going to be interesting to see, especially if you see them in person. Obviously on TV they can play with the chroma or not the chroma key, the lighting aspects a little bit when they do the restream. But if it comes out to where it's like it really kind of looks like grating to look at for 2 hours because there's just like white light bouncing on neon green, that'll be a different story. But I mean, as it stands, I think they're pretty good. I think that this is what the concept of a blackout jersey really should be. Not like if I'm standing more than 2 blocks away from you, I don't know what you're wearing. This kind of pops out to me. It kind of shows me like, hey, like this is Dallas. And, lucky for them, they already have a history of wearing black and green. So,
Well, it also I think the green is meant to like symbolize like that building in downtown Dallas with the green stripe on it. Like it has like the green. I think they're LEDs now, but like it's been this way since like the 80s. It's like this famous building that has like a green like art like it's just outlined in green and like that, I think that was the idea. Like they matched that green and not like their traditional color, which is why like it's a highlighter. But like I think it's still really cool. I mean, they're gonna look fire and then probably in shell, so like that'll be cool.
Yeah, yeah. And, I'm going to be interested to watch to see if these particular jerseys end up on the most sell list because it seems like every single year Dallas has 2 jerseys on the most sold list. When they do like the top 10 jerseys sold, it's always a Sagan and a Ben jersey. So I'm interested to see if these start flying off the shelves because it's something
See,
different.
this is why I think they should have been put in a Stadium Series game and not like a Winter Classic because the Winter Classic's all about like tradition and like old school throwbacks, and I feel like the Stadium Series is more like bright, colorful, like cutting edge design, right? Around the idea that like they're gonna be so far away that like they need these bigger numbers and these brighter colors so you see them on the ice, right? And I feel like Dallas's like colors, like this would have lent itself really nicely to being like a Stadium Series jersey, you know?
Oh
Like
yeah.
obviously like this black, like say they played Colorado, right? And Colorado wore I don't know, like a blue, like they went to like a baby blue throwback for like their Nordiques, right? And like a Stadium Series. Like that would would look great. It'd be like bright and colorful and like it would just look good on the ice. Whereas like they really dropped the ball with like their Winter Classic jerseys. Like they just looked kind of weird. Like I appreciate like the attention to detail for authenticity, but like at the same time, it's like, listen, you don't have to be that authentic. Like that's why I think they would have been better served. Like I think a lot of these. This is a really random tangent. I'm sorry, but
No,
like
it's okay.
just in overall in terms of jersey design, I think a lot of teams get sucked into like Vegas is a good example of this now. Like teams that don't have long histories get sucked in trying to like replicate a fake history, whereas I think they'd be more like inclined to be put in environments like Stadium Series games or like participate in the retro throwback, but like not have to like adhere to like a specific kind of like look or style that the league is looking for. Because like at the end of the day, like they end up just making these like kind of like plain ugly jerseys because they don't have the history to draw on. Whereas if like I feel like you give them the range to just create something new, these franchises probably come out with more like interesting designs, like Wild Wing. Like Wild Wing was trashed when it came out. People hated that jersey, but like look at it now. Now we're talking about buying one. You know.
Yeah, a lot of these jerseys, it's really funny because we're starting to hit that point in a lot of these jerseys' histories where the initial terrible feelings and disgust about them is passing, and now they're becoming quote unquote so bad they're good, right? Like the Fishermen and the Islanders, like the Islanders are selling fisherman jerseys. They're selling fisherman hats. I Every time you go to an Islander game, you see them all over the place. Like the fans and the Islander fans love that jersey.
See,
Um,
honestly, that jersey itself is kind of fire. I just don't like the logo. Like if they would have put like the Islander regular logo on it with like to match like the colors on like the Fisherman's, like the brighter orange and the darker blue, I think would have been fire.
They did for I think 1 or 2 seasons. They actually after the lawsuit, after they got sued by Gordon's Fisherman, they took the Fisherman off and put the Islanders logo on, but it didn't last very long. Um, but yeah, like jerseys like that, like the Kachina jersey, um, was kind of met with like lukewarm responses when it first came out. Now everybody loves those.
Those are
Um,
just so unique, I think.
oh yeah, I mean it's one of the better logos for sure because it's like it's just there's no mistaking it that like, this is an Arizona Coyotes logo. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly.
I've even seen a lot of Rangers fans excited to see if the Rangers bring back the Liberty,
Oh, dude, that'd
concept.
be awesome. I'd love to see them bring back the white version because like we've seen the dark blue one, like the white one I think would be kind of fire. It'd be kind of like it'd be different, The Rangers wear like traditionally blue alternates.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. And it would kind of daunt like bring back that tradition of like you used to wear whites at home. That was the way it
Or it'd
was.
be cool if like if these are like just say these are like matchups, right? Like because these are divisional games, both of these for the retro alternates. Say it's like a retro alternate like theme like series, right? There's like games in this series, and like every division's gonna have say like one or two. And like it'd be cool to see the Islanders bring back like that dark blue like Gorton's Fisherman jersey with like just their regular logo against like the Rangers white Lady Liberty. I think that'd be a pretty cool matchup on the ice.
It'd be awesome. I mean, I would 100% pay money to see. I mean, like that kind of thing is stuff that like gets me excited to watch. I'm always excited to watch hockey. But there's a little bit extra added incentive. Like I get to watch these really really dope jerseys on the ice. Like yeah, I'm totally down, and I'm totally would love to see that happen. That'd be great. I am interested to see what the Rangers do with their reverse retro because the Rangers have actually traditionally really really impressed me with a lot of their jerseys. I still think to this day the Rangers original Winter Classic jersey is one of my favorites. That the off-white cream with the old logo is still just absolutely beautiful. One of my
The
favorite jerseys
Rangers
of
have
all
had
time.
very, very few ugly jerseys.
Yeah, I mean they've always almost always knocked it out of the park, and specifically, since we've really started watching, I can't really remember a Rangers jersey that I didn't like. I mean, I thought their Stadium Series jersey was a
It was
little bit
okay.
lazy, but I didn't dislike it. There hasn't been a Rangers jersey I've disliked so far. So I'm really excited to see what they do because they almost always seem to knock it out of the park. I'm sure the Devils are probably going to do something with their green, probably bring back the green accenting.
Yeah, they kind of get a pass with that. They get like an easy throw. It's like throwback. We'll go to green. Alternates green. It's like all right.
Um, I actually, yeah, I do want to talk about that for a sec. Do you think that it's about time that enough time has passed where people will accept if the Colorado Avalanche bring out a Nordiques jersey?
I hope so. Nathan McKinnon had that picture on his Instagram story of the navy, the blue gloves. I think it'd be really. I mean, like, I think that if they put one out, it would sell like hotcakes. They'd sell out almost instantly.
I would absolutely blow a gasket, not a gasket. I would actually like, uh, what was it? I don't know how. I would absolutely love if they bought out the Nordiques jerseys. I mean, they're one of my favorite jerseys in NHL history. They're simple. There's not a lot going on with them, but they're so clean, And that logo, it's like that logo to me screams vintage hockey. When you see that logo, you just think back to, what a lot of people would refer to as like, the good old days, right? Like not really for us because we weren't alive back then, but that logo to me just screams this is vintage hockey. And I would love it if the Avalanche bought out the Nordiques jerseys. I
I'd love to
think
see them play the Jets in their like
oh my
throwbacks. And
god.
see, like
Oh,
they have so many good ones because then you have Calgary with their alternates. They could just play Edmonton in an alternate. Boom, there you go.
oh, do you think the Oilers bring back the oil drop jersey?
I hope not.
Oh my god, the oil drop, bro.
Listen, the Oilers went to that weird like navy blue and like ugly like I don't know like peanut butter color that wasn't orange.
Really washed out colors.
It just like sucked. Like it looked so bad. And like I'm pretty sure Todd McFarland is like designed it, the guy that designed Spawn. So it's like why?
Yeah, it's there's a lot of teams that I think have a lot of interesting jerseys they can definitely go with. Um, but
Yeah,
I
let's hope
would
Edmonton doesn't go for that one though.
think the Kings bring back the Burger King logo.
Oh God, I hope not.
They'll probably go purple, right? Like they kind of have to.
Or they might go for like the black versions of their like the Wayne Gretzky era ones.
Ooh, yeah, 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 yeah. Actually, I'd be happy with that too. That'd be pretty dope. Um, I'm interested to see what more of these jerseys come out. I'm really excited to see what teams do. I really hope that we see a Nordiques jersey because I really want to see that on the ice. It's cool enough that we one game a year we get to watch the Hurricanes don the Whalers jerseys and play a game like that. That to me is a really special day. Always try to catch that game because it's just awesome.
What do you think the Red Wings are gonna do?
That's an interesting question because again
Because
the
they've
Red
worn
Wings
literally the same jersey their entire history.
right, and they did a little bit of a different thing for their Winter Classic jersey when they had the D logo.
Which is for like the Detroit Tigers or Cougars, which was the original name of the team.
I'm not sure because the winged wheel is just so Detroit. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I mean, like you can't even be like the historical greats wore this other. It's like they literally wore the same jersey they wear every night. Like it's just I don't know. It's interesting because I'm trying to think like the Blackhawks, like even the Blackhawks, like if the idea is like these throwbacks to date to like a specific period, right? Say like the mid '90s, which a lot of these seem to be. It's like well then like they're just gonna have the same uniforms that they're wearing now because a lot of teams haven't changed them.
well, yeah, I mean, the Detroit Red Wings home jerseys are literally like when they came out, they were like, we're going back to our roots. This is our throwback to our original jersey. It's like, okay. Like the Senators, they just went back to their roots as well. Do you think they bring back the Senators logo that like stared daggers at you? Like the Alexei Yashin Ottawa Senators jersey that like stared through your soul?
Yeah, maybe. Oh my God. What if they went for like those? Remember those gold ones they used to have with the bear on it?
Ew.
Imagine they went for
Ew.
those, like the Joe Thornton, like early Joe Thornton years, yo. Oh man, spicy. What are the Canadians gonna do? What if they went for like that white, like that blue one they used to wear? Do you remember that? They had like a blue one.
Ugh.
Awful. Hang on, let me see if I can find it.
If the Bruins bring
Awful.
out that bear, I'm gonna slap somebody. First of all, I want to know who approved that bear. It's smiling at you. It literally has a smirk on its face. Like, if you zoom in enough, it is the least threatening logo on the planet. And I know that, like, it's not, like, to a certain extent, your logos are supposed to be cool, right? They're not supposed to be like, I'm Winnie the Pooh. Like, that's, like, don't smile at me.
So this is what the Bruins did for the original like throwback. Seems to look a lot like their like a white version of their current um their current jerseys or like the current alternates they use with like the B. You
Yeah,
know what I'm talking about?
yeah.
So those, but the remember we were talking about the Blackhawks? All right, so the Blackhawks pulled out something from the 20s, which is honestly kind of fire. I know you hate stripes, so and Detroit also did something with stripes. But so I guess there's options here.
I
There's
don't
some cool ones.
mind a
The Maple Leafs
striped
did some cool stuff.
jersey if it's done right. It has to be done very particular for me to be on board with it. But
So here's I found an auction website, but like these are the original 6 versions of like the original version of these classic throwbacks. So like this is what they looked like, which I think is pretty cool, honestly. They're just very classic. So I guess this is probably what we could expect out of the original 6 teams.
see, I don't mind the striping on that Blackhawks jersey. That to me is good. I like that.
See,
I
like I'm
actually
not
don't
saying like
mind that.
obviously like these are obviously like 20 something years old now, but like
Yeah.
this is what the NHL did the first time they did a throwback. So like I'd imagine we'd see designs similar to like at least for like the Blackhawks, Bruins, and the Red Wings recycled something similar because like the other 3 all kind of look the same.
Yeah. I mean, the thing with Montreal is like,
It literally has always been that. It's except for like that one globe logo when they won the Stanley Cup that one season, which by the way is hilarious to me that they won a Stanley Cup and then put the globe on their jersey to say they were champion of the world. It's the most disrespectful thing you can do. And then I think they lost the Stanley Cup that year.
no one has ever said the Canadiens are a humble organization. That
Oh
is
God, no.
for sure. Um, I'm interested to see what some of these teams do. Um, Especially like you said, some of these teams like they're kind of hamstrung because the Montreal jerseys are a classic. They've pretty much looked the same their entire existence. In Detroit, the jersey design might have stayed different, might have differed here and there, but their current homes are really a throwback to what guys like Gordie Howe are wearing and stuff like that. Um, so they're kind of hamstrung. They don't really have a lot of wiggle room if they want to do a true retro. They're not like the Anaheim Ducks who like, this is our old retro jersey, we can change the color on it. They have to kind of think outside the box and come up with something, although they really haven't had many ugly jerseys. They also don't have a lot of alternates just because they're such a storied franchise. But
Yeah.
The Blackhawks, if they actually went back to the jersey that you sent me here, I think it'd be really cool if they went back to that old logo, maybe just like made it a little bit bigger. It looks really kind of small in that picture, but those also might be either knockoffs or something else. But make the logo a little bit bigger. I think that'd be a cool idea. Just a lot of different things that these teams can do. I'm very curious to see what some of them do with this reverse retro situation here. So, do you have anything else you want to kind of hit on or talk about?
Uh, no, I think that's really it. The league really is kind of just frozen lately.
So, what we're going to do is, after all these arbitration meetings, we're going to keep an eye on, see if things, shake it up. The reason, we wanted to get you guys some content, and there have been a lot of jersey announcements going on. So if even more jersey announcements get announced, but the league starts moving and shifting again, maybe we'll do like a mini pod for the new jerseys and stuff like that come out, because I'm a big jersey nerd and I love talking about this stuff. But we're gonna keep an eye on things. If another 2 weeks go by with not a lot of shaking and movement, maybe we'll come up with something. Maybe we'll do another one of those kind of podcasts we were doing during the pause. We just talk about something completely random, something
Yeah.
along those lines. But basically, we are kind of at the mercy of the NHL right now. So if things start shaking and moving, we'll be getting you out, obviously a ton of content. If things are still slow, teams are kind of frozen, we will still be bringing you content. Don't worry about that. But it might just be another random episode, talk about something else related to hockey, that kind of like what we were doing during the off season. So I want to thank you guys for watching, and we will see you guys again, whatever that may be, next time.